A meltdown on Wall Street. U.S. stock market suffering its worst drop since the pandemic as fears over the fallout from tariffs rock the global economy. Good evening. Welcome to Fox 11 News at 5, simulcast on Fox 11 and Fox 11 Plus. I'm Alex Michelson.
And I'm Christine Devine. President Trump is downplaying the worldwide sell-off, saying stocks will boom. But today's market data paints a very different picture.
Roughly $2 trillion was erased from U.S. stocks. Everything from crude oil to big tech stocks. Even the value of the U.S. dollar fell. The Dow nosedived more than 1,600 points, the biggest wipeout since the pandemic of 2020.
Fox 11's Phil Schuman joining us with more about the fallout.
Well, President Trump is a disruptor, as we all know, and we're seeing the reaction to his latest disruption with the tariffs from foreign leaders and in this country with that plunging stock market. Yes, the stock markets were plunging both at home and overseas after the president made that announcement on tariffs on dozens of countries. But the White House is urging patience, saying the Trump plan will boost U.S. production and ultimately benefit Americans.
I think it's going very well. It was an operation like when a patient gets operated on, and it's a big thing.
But outside of the U.S., global leaders are less optimistic, and they're now scrambling a bit to try to soften the blow to their own economies.
Negotiations on an economic prosperity deal, one that strengthens our existing trading relationship, they continue.
A 10% tariff across the board is going into effect on Saturday, while a previously announced tariff on auto imports went into effect overnight. Canada's Prime Minister, for one, says his country will copy that approach and impose a 25% tariff on all vehicles imported from the United States.
The president's actions will reverberate here in Canada and across the world.
But back home, with nervous investors looking at the worst day in the U.S. stock markets since 2020.
Anytime the market senses volatility, changes, that creates kind of like a wave of panic in the marketplace.
Local financial professionals like Rick Miller from CSI Wealth Management preach patience, much like President Trump has.
Absolutely, 100%. Now, you should have already done your homework in advance of this writing it out process, right? And one of those things would be simply, are you in the portfolio that fits your investment style and your time horizon? And so clearly, if you're in that position and you've got emergency funds and you're managing your debt well, you've got security in the job marketplace if you're working, then just, batten down the hatches and ride out the storm.
Of course, that's if you're fortunate enough to have investments. If you're not sure what to do, you can certainly get professional advice. But the key is not to panic, because if you sell now, you're just locking in your losses. Whether you have money in the markets or not, we're all going to be dealing with higher prices, at least in the short term.
Yeah, I mean, is there any sense on how long the short term lasts?
No, because this has never happened before.
Right.
I mean, it could be days, could be weeks, could be months. I mean, but if you're on Team Trump and you're all in, not to worry.
But they do say in crises like this, if you can, to just sit tight.
Yeah, ride it
wait for
out.
better times. Yeah. Wow.
Donald Trump really believes in this and has been talking about it for decades.
Yes.
And now he's president, the most powerful man in the world, and he's making it happen.